A stark warning from Seoul, South Korea's martial law. South Korea, a beacon of technology and democracy, recently declared martial law. This drastic measure was in response to a massive cyber attack. The attack crippled critical infrastructure and sowed widespread panic. This situation is a stark reminder that even the most modern societies are vulnerable. It highlights the very real possibility of martial law. Imagine a world without the freedoms you take for granted. No free speech, no right to assemble. This is the reality of martial law. It's a state of emergency where the military takes control. They enforce order and security. It's a last resort, but a possibility we must be prepared for. South Korea's situation is a wake-up call. It shows us that martial law isn't just a relic of the past. It's a present danger. We need to be aware of this threat. We need to be ready to face it head-on. Understanding martial law. When freedoms are suspended, martial law. Two words that send chills down your spine, but what do they really mean? In simple terms, it's when the military becomes the law. Your rights, suspended, your freedoms, restricted, your government, replaced by soldiers. Curfews become the norm, you're confined to your homes during certain hours. Public gatherings, forget about it. The military shuts them down to maintain control. And freedom of speech, silenced. Any dissent is met with swift and brutal force. But it's not just about restrictions, it's about survival. Food and supplies become scarce. You need to be self-sufficient. You need to know how to find food, water, and shelter. Your survival instincts kick in. Martial law is a desperate measure for desperate times. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of our freedoms. We must be prepared to face any challenge, even the suspension of our very way of life. Echoes of history. Martial law in America's past. America, the land of the free. But even here, martial law has cast its long shadow. From the Civil War to Hurricane Katrina, it's been declared multiple times. Each instance a stark reminder of the fragility of freedom. During the Civil War, President Lincoln declared martial law. Similarly, after Hurricane Katrina, it was imposed again. These examples show martial law is not just theoretical, it can be used again. We must learn from the past and be prepared to value and protect our freedoms. Could it happen here? Scenarios for a U.S. lockdown. The United States, a beacon of democracy, seems immune to martial law, but don't be fooled. The world is a dangerous place. Unforeseen events can plunge even the most stable nations into chaos. Imagine a massive cyber attack, power grids collapse, communication networks go dark, panic grips the nation. The government, struggling to regain control, declares martial law. It's a scenario that could easily become our reality. Or picture this, a devastating natural disaster. An earthquake, hurricane, or pandemic cripples infrastructure and essential services. Looting and violence erupt. The government, overwhelmed, resorts to martial law to restore order. These are just two scenarios. The possibilities are endless. The point is, martial law is not impossible in America. It's a contingency we must be prepared for. Because when chaos reigns, survival depends on preparedness. Preparing for the unthinkable. How to safeguard your future. We hope for the best but prepare for the worst. That's the mantra we live by. Preparation is not just about supplies, it's about mental fortitude and practical skills. Stay informed, know your rights, understand the laws in your state, keep an eye on current events. Knowledge is power. Build your survival kit. Water, food, first aid supplies, and self-defense tools are essential. Think long-term. Learn basic survival skills. First aid, fire starting, shelter building. These skills could mean the difference between life and death. Self-reliance is key. Connect with your community. Build a network of trusted individuals. Share knowledge and resources. We are stronger together. Embrace preparedness. Be informed. Be resourceful. Be ready. That's how we survive.